The following announcement has been paid for by the Put Me Over podcast.
Sup, Byron here, aka the Pinoy Powerhouse, aka the handsomest man alive, from your favorite podcast or your favorite wrestling podcast, the Put Me Over podcast. Right now it's almost midnight on a Tuesday night, a couple days after the Elimination Chamber, and I'm still hype, especially after Raw last night. So you're gonna get some bonus content. Right now, I'm having a hard time sleeping because I think I had a slight food poisoning. I ate, those vegetables that are pre-cut and they kind of package it up and sell it. I bought a pack of those, and I'm pretty sure, it messed me up. So last night and today all day, I've been having, the shits, explosive diarrhea. It's really not fun. And it's been keeping me up, so hopefully I start to feel better, but that's beside the point. So since I can't sleep, me and the boys have been having passionate conversations about wrestling, which we always do, which grown-ass men like us shouldn't have, but we should, because pro wrestling is the greatest thing ever, especially when there's a lot of downtime. But, yeah, I'll be the first to say I am super freaking pumped. I was marking out hard when The Miz won. For one, I called it. Let's look at the tape right here.
Drew's actually in the match, huh?
Yeah.
Drew's gonna win. Drew's gonna win, but the Miz cashes in. Good night. See ya, Mania. The Miz says.
Does Miz win or does he lose?
Well, the Miz is not it. He's gonna win. He's gonna cash in and win tonight.
Okay, so he's gonna cash in and win.
So I predicted it, and I was right. But then again, I also predicted that Kevin Owens was going to walk out of Elimination Chamber as champ. But whatever, we can't all be perfect. But yeah, I just felt like that was going to happen. I thought it was the right move by far. And it's crazy to me. Like, The Miz is a very polarizing creature. He's a very polarizing wrestler. So the IWC blew up, and it was a lot of mixed reviews. Obviously, the smart marks hate it because they want some bullshit champ like Eddie Kingston or, I don't know. I love Ricochet, but he's not at the point where he should be a champ or in championship contention. He hasn't done enough. But for a lot of people to discredit The Miz as a champion is crazy to me. For one, There's many factors here that's kind of weird to me because let's just let's list off his resume. He's a 2-time WWE champion now after winning at the Elimination Chamber. He's an 8-time Intercontinental champion, which if you're a wrestling fan or a WWE fan or anything, you know that's the workers' title. So to have that title 8 times is incredible. He's a 2-time United States champion. Can't poo-poo on that either. An 8-time tag team champions. Yeah, the tag team champions, being a tag team champion isn't the same as it used to be, but regardless, it's still, in kayfabe world, it's still a chip, you know? He's also a 2-time Money in the Bank winner. So I think people need to start putting respect on this man's name. The crazy part is that his title run, it was 10. Both his title runs, or his first title run was 10 years ago, and then he regained it this past Sunday. That 10-year gap is crazy. For one, it just shows his perseverance. He's a loyal company guy. He played his part. He paid his dues. It's not like he was doing nothing in between. He's definitely an 8-time IC champ, 2-time US champ, 8-time tag team champ, and a 2-time Money in the Bank winner. That's a Hall of Fame career. I'm sorry, people, but you gotta respect the man's work. He's killed it. I mean, he's polarizing. A lot of people like him, and a lot of people hate him. At least more people hate him. All these smart marks hate him because he's not a flippity-flip guy or he's not an indie guy and he came from reality TV. But to me, that makes his story even better. They stacked. It was hard for him to overcome all those boundaries anyway. Like, I'm sure a lot of people in the locker room hate him, even now. And they think he's kind of like spoon-fed a lot of things, but I think the opposite. I think he's worked that much harder to get to where he's at. He's not the perfect wrestler, obviously, but he's a great entertainer, guys. He's great on the mic. Same people who hate the fact that he's champ will probably wish that someone like Eddie Kingston or Ricochet are deserving. And again, I love Ricochet and Aleister Black, but yeah. And another thing that makes him more credible about, or this title run even more credible, is the fact that he held the Money in the Bank. So inherently, that gives you the advantage. So it doesn't diminish the title in any sense. It just means it was that much harder to get that title off of Drew, and it made Drew look good. First off, he was in an Elimination Chamber match, which was the main event of the pay-per-view, which kind of told you something big was going to happen. So he was in that grueling match. Then after that, the Hurt Business beat the shit out of him, or Bobby Lashley specifically was hired by The Miz, who knows, to beat the shit out of Drew. And then, even then, The Miz had to hit 2 moves on him. He kicked out of the first one, and then The Miz was able to hit the skull-crushing finale on him to pin him. So, if anything, this kind of elevates Drew to that level. Like, it takes a lot to beat him. That's Roman-type stuff to beat him. Drew has done his job as a champ, and I think this was the right move. Like, the biggest complaint about Raw is it's been boring for the last, and it's just whatever. The writing's been bad, and yeah, of course, it's been bad here and there for the last couple of months, or even the last couple of years. People will argue, but I think a lot of that has to do with the predictable storytelling, or the lack of, like, the A story is everything. And I think as good as Drew was, it wasn't something that drew eyes on a weekly basis. And I think this move will definitely garner eyes, even if the Miz. His title run ends next week when he faces Lashley. He did his job, and it's good for him. He gets to be the champion for a week if that is the case. And plus now we're all intrigued. We have no idea where this is going. Is Lashley gonna be the champion? Which at this point elevates Lashley. So yeah, this whole Miz winning the title does a lot of things. One, it made Drew still look awesome. He didn't lose it like a chump, like a weak ass. 2, it draws intrigue because Miz is polarizing. My freaking girlfriend knows who the Miz is, and she doesn't watch wrestling at all. It's not like we have shows like, it's not like Ricochet or Aleister Black or anybody have shows on E that anyone could relate to. So yeah, he does draw eyes. So he's polarizing as fuck. So I think that in the end, that's what wrestling's about. Another thing is, having Lashley part of this thing now elevates him, and we all want to see Lashley on that main event level. At least I do. And imagine that elevating the Hurt Business. So if that goes up, that faction goes up, and then what if it's a Brock Lashley feud for the title, or for without a belt attached to it? Either way, that's big time. And I think now, like, the unpredictability before going into Mania, it makes it that much more intriguing to watch Raw specifically, or especially, I should say. Yeah, so I don't know. Tell us how you feel, but me and the boys have been arguing about it for the last couple of days. It's kind of hilarious. Yeah, so I believe, again, that this was an awesome thing, and obviously a lot of you smart mark fools think otherwise, but if I'm happy for the Miz, it's perfect. Like, he's grinded it out. He had that run 3 years ago where I thought they should have put a title on him, the world title specifically, when he had that talking smack, when he started gaining the heat, when his promo game was on fire, and his feud with Daniel Bryan was heating up. I think Daniel Bryan was still hurt then, but even that, like, you knew, and he's waited his time. A lot of people want things so fast, and a lot of people complain there's not a lot of long-term storytelling. But in a sense, this is a long-term story that's been told of a guy who comes into the WWE, who people hate, and then he works his way and starts, building a career in the wrestling game. 3 years ago, I thought it could have culminated to a title run, and now he's a champ. Again, whether that's a week, or if he wrestles at Mania, whatever the case may be, he's deserved this at least. And he's found the market. Like, he's capitalized on all his talent. And as I mentioned to the boys earlier, he's definitely a top 5 heel in all of wrestling. He's definitely one of the best people on the mic. Wrestling, he's better than MJF. Sorry, Marks, he's a better wrestler than MJF in the ring. I mean, prove me wrong. MJF has a lot of talent. He's good, but The Miz is better wrestler overall, especially. So let's cut that bullshit out. Yeah, so looking forward to seeing where they go. So here's a short little bonus clip. I know you guys are probably want to hate me, especially you, Julio. I don't know how you feel about this, Josh and Ron, or the rest of you listeners. But yeah, let us know. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, Anchor, Stitcher, all that stuff. So yeah, let us know how you feel in the comments. Let me know if I'm crazy, but fuck you. I know my opinion's right. I'm just kidding. So yeah, have a good week, and we'll see you guys. You'll hear the other boys' opinion on Saturday, and I'm sure it's gonna be a heated conversation. So yeah, have a good night, guys, and pray for my diarrhea. Peace.